you go about processing that one?
Oh, I was processing it through the night. It was stark contrast. They were able to absorb our pressure and keep the ball alive and flow the ball really well and put our defence under pressure. And it was the opposite for us. You know, we couldn't absorb their pressure and get the ball to the outside well enough and give our forwards a chance. So our forwards were starving by the end of the night. But there's obviously a gap between where they are right now and where we are.
And they are embarrassing the Bombers now.
Even though I think we've taken some steps forward in the last 4 to 6 weeks, we clearly took a step back tonight. But we never lost sight of where we were at, ever. I mean, we've got a lot of steps forward to match it with the better teams in the competition.
Yeah, it was a poor loss for the Bombers against the Western Bulldogs, a 91-point drubbing at the hands of Luke Beveridge's men. There's been a lot of discussion throughout the early part of the season about the Bombers and where they're at, and they had beaten, their wins had come against lowly placed sides, Kingy, but they got a fair old reality check against the Bulldogs last night.
Yeah, and I'd just love to know what is going through Brad's mind right now. Is it personnel? Is it system that requires tinkering or wholesale change? Is it a confidence issue? Is it a form issue? Or is this them? And
well, you're not sure about the system.
I'm not sure. I'm just not sure about the Bombers. Like, I like the defensive numbers in terms of points against the last few weeks, but as we sort of said, let's wait and see until they come up against a team that can seriously move the ball and that can challenge you on all fronts like the Dogs do. The Dogs, we've just shown the numbers on the Dogs. The Dogs are a serious operation in terms of their method, hard to defeat. And this has always been the problem. So since round 4, they allow you to move the ball against them, Essendon, and they've held up as a D50, a back 6, back 7, with some support coming back, Joey. So I guess the question that we're all asking, and we won't get answers on this for the next probably 3 or 4 weeks, is this fake footy? Are you defending with ball in hand? Ooh. In terms of the defensive profile, which is what Richmond did in 2016, and then threw it all out and become a chaotic or embrace chaos as a football club? Or is this what they think is going to take them to the promised land? So we don't know.
So you're saying that this style could be a stopgap, this uncontested style?
They can change it, of course, at the end of any season. Difficult to change in season. But my thoughts are defending with the footy never works when you get to a preliminary final or a grand final. So this is a challenge for Brad Scott and his coaching group to show us in the next 4 weeks, which version are you?
Yeah, we flagged it on Wednesday that you can lower your points against, but you can do it in a way that's unsustainable, that's not really the profile. And we've seen that over the last 6 weeks. So Essendon were the number 1 team at winning the ball back in their defensive half of the ground, and the numbers were looking okay. But you know what the Western Bulldogs said? They go, well, we're not going to allow this to happen. So we know they love to send a half forward up to stoppage, but we know what Essendon have been doing in recent weeks. They've been sitting their half-backs, and particularly Reid, behind the play, and they've been intercepting. So what Luke Beveridge said is, well, we want to make them accountable. So they slid their winger down in harms to go and play on Zach Reid to make sure that it was 1v1. And so we're not going to give Essendon what they want and allow them to intercept and win the ball back like we've seen in the last month. So all of a sudden you're seeing Zach Reid have to play on someone, everyone else is 1v1, and they get exposed and they get opened up. So the Western Bulldogs took 21 marks inside the forward 50. Zach Reid, who'd had 23 intercepts in the previous 3 games, only has 4, and it breaks down in a hurry. So that was the concern going into the game, that this could happen. I think other teams will see it. And now it's over to Brad Scott and Essendon. How do they want to defend? Do they want to defend in a way that it might hurt them on the scoreboard, but it's going to be better for them in the long run? Or are they just trying to lower their points again, sit back, chip the ball around, concede some ball inside their defensive 50, but set up, but not really play a game that's going to win finals in the long term? So we'll keep an eye on it.
That's elite coaching, isn't it? I mean, for Bevo to be able to do that and get that result, Joey.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, it's interesting because I would have thought in Brad Scott's 3rd year, he'd be building a brand, they'd be learning a style that's finals proof, that's sustainable, that's successful in September. So that will certainly be interesting to watch. What about both ends, King?
Well, when you don't win it back, you're going to have a low inside 50 count. There's no doubt about that. One thing feeds into the next, but 17 at half-time, 37 for the full game, second worst in 5 years. So these are the things that would be rammed home to Essendon, that this is a confrontational week for them, I think, to sit back and say, well, what are we? Where are we going? Because if Merritt doesn't have a day out, they're back to relying on system. If Martin doesn't have one of those out-of-the-box games in the forward half, where is the system? So there are the challenges right now for Essendon. No one had them winning the flag this year.
No.
So we're just tempering what we're saying, but we want to see, and the Essendon fans want to be taken on this journey as to what they're building.
Talking about style, you've been calling on Fremantle to be more direct, and they certainly were that against GWS yesterday.
Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah, brother. Because it's been a long time. And when they play like this, Joey, they're bloody hard to beat. This is on the road. Look at this for a kick. When was the last time you saw a Fremantle Docker do that?
Pull the trigger. Yep.
Yeah, pull the trigger. This kid, Simpson, he's a beauty at half-back, and I'm glad they've stuck with him down there. And we talk a lot about failed key forwards, Joey. We don't talk enough about half-forwards that go to half-back and dominate. Not just play good footy, but dominate. Look where the eyes go, straight away. Into the middle. I just loved it. I just thought this is a method that can seriously challenge anyone on any given day. I liked the way that their defensive half scoring was 8 goals 3. Haven't seen that for a while. I've seen it, that number, but not like this. This threatens the best teams in the competition to be organised. If you take your time and build the ball like we've shown in the past, you get 10 or 11 seconds, you're set behind it, you can't get through. You've got to defeat 5 layers of defence. It's not going to happen. So their corridor game reaped the rewards of 9 goals 6. I haven't seen that from them at speed. So let's hope that this is the new Freo, that if it is, will make a significant inroads into the top 8 and can seriously challenge for this flag. So let's wait and see.
And allowed the talent to shine in the forward half. Frederick was brilliant, Shea Bolton, of course, Dudley Murphy-Reid and the tall, so that they all got to work. But I'll tell you what, I've been speaking about the Giants a lot in recent weeks, Jay-Z, and I've just got some concerns about how good this GWS Giants side is, and more particularly, is their brand and the way that their list is built going to stack up come September? Because on the weekend again, they had 14 missed tackles, which was a season high for them. But I think they're starting to pay the price of the players they lost in the off-season. When you think about Perryman coming, Peatling and these depth players, because now all of a sudden their depth players are young kids. We're talking about Cody Angove, we're talking about Jacob Ware, Fonte, little Harvey Thomas. Now these are all going to be great players. Even Darcy Jones, they're going to be terrific long-term players for this footy club. But at this stage in their development and their career, they aren't the biggest team physically. And all of a sudden you start looking, you go, there's a lot of reliance on Tom Green in the midfield to win a lot of the contested ball. They've got some elite competitors defensively. We know that with Buckley and Taylor and a couple forward of the ball. But just on the whole, I just feel that when these games are played as an arm wrestle, they generally don't come out on top. So if you look at this season, when they play in shootouts, so last week at Geelong was a perfect example. Both teams can get 100 points. They get their style going. They can win. And when they've played in high-scoring games, they're 4-1 this season. When they've played in arm wrestle, so the scores have been under 156 total points, they're 1-4. And that only win was against Melbourne at the MCG, where we know they got lucky with a brilliant sort of kick-in play at the end of Lockie Keefe. So it's just something to keep an eye on. If teams clamp them and make it an arm wrestle, are they built to play that style of game, or are they built to play on a fast track, free-flowing tsunami football that goes end-to-end and they can beat teams on skill, speed and talent? Just got to keep an eye on it.
Before we leave Fremantle, Luke Jackson's going to continue to be a big talking point too. I'm seeing it's the biggest furphy in football. People saying Luke Jackson can't be a number 1 ruckman. Well, we saw across the weekend he was the number 1 ruckman in the absence of Sean Darcy. And look at that, he was the number 1 rated player on the ground. 15 contested possessions, 6 score involvements, 7 clearances. I think Fremantle are going to realise that he has more upside in his rucking rather than Sean Darcy, who's got a blinky knee, and we're not sure where he's at. So,
but no one's saying he can't play. No one's saying that. Right, the guy can play.
I heard last week someone say he was no good.
He's a very.
He's on your radio show.
He's a very good player. Most of us concede that.
Yeah.
But it's horses for courses. There will be a Sam Darcy injection back into this lineup.
Sean Darcy, yeah.
Sorry, Sean Darcy.
Yeah,
they love Sam. Yeah. Sean.
People are saying that Luke Jackson can't be a first ruckman. I think he showed at the weekend he can be, and I think he'll continue to show be. But anyway, we want to talk him down.